The Lights of the Round Table. I'm Darius A. Stanton.
And I'm Darlene Brown.
And I'm Marcus Johnson. And we're the Lights of the Round Table. And we'd like to welcome you to the Lights of the Round Table and our Round Table experience. We talk health, wealth, entrepreneurship, relationships, education, and everything that helps you to shine light on your wellness journey. Darius, what do we have for today?
Well, today we have a queen in the house to join our other queen, Darlene Brown, and she has no stranger to challenge, competition, and reigning. She is the reigning, currently, Miss Ohio for America 2020. Also, she has just been donned recently, I believe, in Las Vegas, Nevada, Miss for America 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the queen herself, Miss Tiggs, will be talking about what's going on in the world of women and leadership as her platform, and how do you become Miss America at any level, and how do you become a miss in any state in the United States, how to pageant, how to win, how to overcome, and how to lead. That's what we're talking about today.
Especially Ohio.
Especially Ohio. So when we come back, we're going to be talking with Miss Ohio for America and Miss America.
You're going to get that right. It's all right.
Miss for America 2021.
2021.
There you go. When we come back. And look, share this site. Make sure you go to our website. Make sure you go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, and in the chat, make sure you do what we always do each and every week. Hashtag the lights are on. So when you share it, people already know they're going to get the light when they walk into our show. So we'll be right back with the Lights of the Round Table.
Welcome to the Lights of the Round Table podcast with your co-host, Marcus Johnson, Darlene Brown, and Darius A. Stanton. Featuring special souls from around the globe, these cool, organic, and vibrant personalities come together to discuss the importance of physical health, spiritual strength, and mental well-being, all in an effort to empower our communities one dialogue at a time. Are you ready? Now is the time to break away from the hustle, bustle, and everyday struggles of life. Come shift your focus and flip the switch on a world less bright. The lights are on.
Hey, welcome back. This is Darius A. Stanton for the Lights of the Round Table with
Darlene Brown.
Marcus Johnson.
Hey.
And our queen for the day. So before we took a break, make sure you go share our show. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe to our channel on YouTube, The Lights of the Round Table. Darlene Brown, our queen, is here. And queen, we have another queen in the building. This young lady has claimed the title of Miss for Ohio for America 2020. And then she went on to become, just recently in Las Vegas, Nevada, Miss for America 2021. We have a pageant winner, an international crown champion in the room.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome to the Lights of the Round Table. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to you guys about my platform and my journey. Love this. And love what you guys do too, and your message of promoting wellness amongst everyone. That's just so awesome and so timely and needed right now.
So, talking about timely and needed, you just competed in a competition that was almost not even going to take place because of COVID-19. And so you have a whole journey in front of us. And I want people to understand, what it takes. They see the glamour and they see the all the pomp and stance, but what it takes to actually become Miss Ohio in a state, in Ohio is a Midwestern state. Like, what is it like in Ohio? Tell us from as an Ohio.
Yeah,
like to grow. Is that your native born? Where you're from originally?
Yeah, I'm a lifelong Ohioan, and Ohio is a conservative state. I mean, I know it's a swing state, but it's mostly conservative, except for in its clustered urban areas. So I have had my challenges competing against certain beauty standards, against just certain type of conservative views. I mean, when I was competing, there was a time where I was told that a Black woman wasn't going to win Miss Ohio. This was told to my face. And
what?
So
in 2020?
Not in 2020. Okay, so let me rewind. I've been competing for 7 years. I competed in 22 pageants and lost all of them, except for one, which was my Miss Ohio for America title. So how I got started was I went to Las Vegas when I was 20 years old, and I got to see an actual Miss America pageant, and I saw how confident the women were, how beautiful they were, and how they used pageantry as a platform to work in whatever their passion was. And something in me just knew that I wanted to use pageantry as my catalyst to work with women. I'm a college student at the time, and I'm in classes learning about the injustices of the world. And I needed some type of platform to be able to get my ideas out there. And I knew that I wanted pageantry to be that platform. What I didn't realize was how much I was going to have to overcome to get to this position that I'm at right now. So it was a 6-year journey, 22 pageants, one on the 22nd try after I almost aged out. So I'm 29 now, right? And for some reason, when you turn 28, they're like, you're a little too old to be competing in pageants anymore. And so at least in the Miss division, right? Because there's Misses and pageants for older women. But for the Miss division, they cut you off at a certain age. So this was my very last try. I'm 22 pageants in. And finally, I went into the judges' room and told them, I have been doing this for 6 years. This is what I want to do with the title. These are my convictions. These are the problems I'm seeing. And I think that I'm the perfect representation for not only our state, but our country to address these problems. And I guess they like that. And I won, but I had so much to overcome in those 6 years. And pageantry has changed so much from what it used to be. And so getting here is truly a testimony to everything that I had to overcome, not only within myself, but battling systems of beauty, systems of racism, systems of misogyny, everything. And so I'm really proud of where I am right now. And I am really excited to use this platform and this opportunity to help other women.
So let me ask you, what was it when you went in and you spoke to the judges and you talked, what were some of these issues that you wanted to use the platform as the Miss Ohio for America 2020 and then also for the Miss for America 2021 that you believe and were so convicted in that you think made them choose you?
So what I said was, there is no issue and no topic that doesn't affect women. So when I'm talking about my personal platform of building up women leaders, there is no topic that's off limits to that. There is no issue that doesn't affect women's ability to be in the positions that they work for and that they deserve to be in. So really, in my opinion, when you're addressing something, you have to address everything. You have to address the root of the problem and how that root problem stems off into other issues. So when we're talking about women's issues and women's leadership, we're not leaving out politics. We have to talk about education. We have to include economics and social problems. And that's really, what my platform focuses on, is addressing all of these issues that hinder women's leadership abilities. And there's no topic that's off limits.
So let me, in your, I guess in your path or on your path to this title or these titles, even though it's all about the women, what is the leadership structure and organizational structure of these organizations? Because I've seen a couple and they seem to be run by men. I mean, was that something that you had to overcome? Is that the case? Is it different with, the For America pageant system?
No, so I mean, when you're competing in pageants, right? It is a political thing. If you watched pageants from the past, the owners of them have been men. A lot of the owners have been men, and that's what you see in a lot of structures and a lot of, just economic and political structures in general. You see men at the top, you see men at the face, but what we don't see is the women who are creating that foundation, the women who are making organizations what they are, but not being the face or not being in the spotlight, not getting that recognition for their contributions. And that's the problem. I'm not trying to create a battle between men and women. We need men in this battle. We need men to step up and say, women deserve to have to keep their humanity and to be recognized as human beings and to be recognized for their contributions. It's not a men against women. It's a people for people. We are trying to make sure that if a woman has the credentials and the experience and has the ability to run a business, that she is offered that opportunity to do so and is not turned away for someone else's view of what womanhood is, and or somebody just being like a hater and feels like a woman can't run a business as well as a man can. So we're trying to just battle some of these stereotypes and these stigmas surrounding working women, and we're seeing that women are becoming more independent. I don't even like that statement, because women have always been independent. Yeah. They just haven't had that platform to be able to show it. And with the structure of our society changing, we're starting to see women who are working and being caregivers and being all of the things. So I think that the structure of the man being on top and the woman being on the bottom is just a reflection of how things have traditionally been and how we see a woman's role. But women, if you read a lot of history books, especially with certain movements and how companies are starting, there's always a woman that's behind the ideas and then within that foundation, but she's often left out of that.
Absolutely. I mean, and my point, I guess, was more to the idea that I think that the myth is that women are in control of these organizations. You see like the Bravo television reality shows and you see all women. But what I found is that the kind of final decision makers in the corporate structure culture of these organizations are from, some man who owns it. And I just wondered if that had, if you spoke differently, if you had to speak differently to these different sets of people, and I pretty much know the answer to that. And then, in a time where social consciousness is at its greatest, it's like, did you finally have a breath of fresh air of like, I hate that it happened this way, but you all are going to let me in now. And I'm going to blow the door off of this. Not like, oh, I was entitled because of what happened, the tragedy with George Floyd, but okay, God used an angel for me to get to my place where I can blow this friggin' door off. How did you deal with, that? Because I'm sure you get some side eyes. Well, it's 2021. Oh, now we're all woke. No, I've always been here. Because your story is one of perseverance. The other thing I want to talk about, did you say 28 pageants? How many pageants?
22.
Whoa, 22.
And you kept. How did you get up?
She was like Abe Lincoln. She kept on coming back. She would not give up.
Right, and that's one of the things I was so when she said that, Marcus, I was like, wait a minute, 22 times? I mean, that's remarkable.
Yes.
Thank you.
The average person would have been like, you know what? Because here's the other thing that I want to make note: there is a cost for competing in this, correct?
Oh. thousands and thousands of dollars.
Thousands and thousands of.
Darling, you hit that sore spot now. Put your hashtag in the.
I mean, that is one of my personal hashtags is 22 pageants. And for me, it signifies that journey. It signifies every minute that I had to drive to all these pageants, every minute I spent crying over my losses, every prayer that I sent up for the strength to keep going, every time I had to have a conversation with someone about this is my journey, this is my vision, because as you can imagine, it hurt people to see me hurt. And so their solution was to find something else. And what people don't understand is when you see something for yourself, when you know that this was put into your heart for a reason, when you know you have a purpose for it, you can't let somebody else's fear or limitations get in your head and internalize them and prevent you from doing what you know you were set out to do. And that's what I want my reign to signify. I want girls to see that it may not happen in the time that you want it to happen. It may not look exactly how you planned it, but you can't give up. I mean, even in these 6 years, my platform has changed multiple times as I grew and learned more about myself. And as the world changes, your platform will change. As you change, your values will change. So I like to say that the journey for me didn't start when I started pageants, and it didn't end when I won. It's a continuous journey. And so whatever you are doing, whatever is on your heart, your journey began before that. This is just an idea, and it's going to change and it's going to evolve. Your journey won't end once you accomplish that goal. It's a lifetime thing. And so I know we had a lot of conversations here. I mean, you're talking about
to say, and that wraps the show for this segment.
Right? I'm just saying, girl, listen.
We're joking. We over here all goo goo gaga because
no.
Because what you said, I mean, the fact that you went through it, you prayed about it, you got discouraged, people told you not to do it. Marcus talks about how his family didn't want him to go into music. They wanted him to do something totally different. And they didn't see music for him, but he saw music for him.
Yeah.
And he kept pushing, and he paid for it, and he set it up, and he did it. He did what had to be done. So we definitely are just excited. I'm encouraged to hear and inspired.
Oh, thank you.
And you are an excellent representative of the state of Ohio and the United States of America.
Oh, thank you so much. It wasn't easy. And I mean, I feel like that idea of resiliency is profound. I like to tell people that I see resiliency as a skill set and not something that you just harbor within yourself, because the natural instinct is we want what we want, we feel what we feel. So you have to practice resiliency. You have to know how to cope with failure. You have to build yourself up to a position where you can fail, quote unquote, fail or not accomplish something and realize that it is not something that is wrong with you. It is not a reflection of who you are because you haven't gotten something in the time that you feel you should have gotten it. And so I like to look at resiliency as something that you acquire through practice, through life, through experience.
And Kayelin, there's a book by Angela Duckworth called Grit.
Grit.
Yeah, I was. I think she's out of that whole Stanford crew. I think. Don't quote me on that. But Angela Duckworth has a book called Grit, and I found out about it when there was this African American woman head of school for the National Children's Research Center in Washington D.C., which is kind of like the Harvard of private independent schools, right? For the elementary. And what we found out is that that's what needs to be taught to these kids. And it was interesting that it wasn't any of the other school leaders that were talking about this book, but it was Valerie Wise. And what you're talking about with resilience and resiliency is a toolkit. And these things that kids don't teach themselves this stuff. This is taught through a process of work, play, learning by play and failure and looking forward to failure as a means of this didn't work. Let me figure out what I need to do to get right before the point of failure where I get liftoff. And I think that's a very key point. But just for as a book, as we always call out our reading list, Grit by Angela Duckworth is one.
I'll have to check it out.
Please do, because I will say that what you actually modeled is something that we all have done at a level, but we've forgotten. When we learned how to walk, every last one of us wobbled. We had to learn through practice how to get our balance. We took that first step, we wobbled, sometimes we fell, but we got back up and we took another step. And every human learned how to walk and then run in that same way by not giving up, by being consistent and persistent in knowing that if I get back up and continue in this path, eventually the universe will meet me. And I believe that's something that we speak about here on the Lights of the Round Table, how important it is to know something and take action in what you know and what you know that the universe will meet you, right? Because
yes, I love that.
Energy. And so I just applaud you for that.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to meet Miss Ohio for America 2020 and Miss Ohio for America 2020 and Miss America for 2021.
Miss for America.
Miss for America. It's all right, bro.
For America.
Miss for America on the other side.
You don't have to say the Ohio part. You could just say a Miss for America 2020.
There it is. We could just drop
it
that
3 times real fast.
There it is. Miss for America. Miss for America. Miss for America.
You don't even have to say the 2021 part.
There we go.
We know it's 2021. You just say Miss for America. There we go.
We'll be right back. Don't touch that.
That's right. We'll see you soon on the Lights of the Round Table. Don't forget to share our show and don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. The Lights of the Round Table, hashtag the lights are on. We'll be right back. Hey, hashtag the lights are on. I'm Darius A. Stanton, and welcome back to the Lights of the Round Table. I'm here with Queen
Darlene Brown
and our good brother
Marcus Johnson
and our special dynamic out of sight dynamite Miss for America 2021
Kayelin Tiggs.
There you go. There, she's part of the Lights of the Round Table. It's official. So, hey, before we get back into the show, make sure you share this show. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Make sure you go to our website, which you can see below. And also, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube because we have positive news that you can use. And guess what? This is what you are what you eat and you are what you digest. So listen, before we took our break, we were talking to our illustrious pageantry winner and who just crafted her crown from Las Vegas. And in doing that, tell us how you overcame 22 losses to then come in and just win, because it was so powerful. Tell us again, like, would you had to cry through it, pray through it, break that list down for us, how you made it through, how you got over.
Gosh. Everything that you can imagine, every emotion that you can experience. I experienced it because it wasn't even just that I lost. I came so close. Like, I think I was first runner-up, which was second place, like 16 times. So imagine standing there hand in hand
like
with the other girl, and your heart is like, this is it. Today's the day. And they call the other girl's name, and you have to be happy for the other contestant. And just those moments after, you lose and you have to go backstage and pack up your stuff and go home and just prepare for the next time. I experienced every single emotion that you can imagine. There's anger, there was self-doubt, There was frustration because I knew I was battling a system. There was, trying to convince my family and friends that this is still something worthwhile. And this is over 6 years. So the way that I feel I overcame it was, one, I had to grow emotionally, meaning from the very first time that I competed, I felt I obviously was not as mature as I am now. So I had to learn to handle my emotions. And that wasn't just a pageant skill, that was a life skill. I had to learn that, when life happens, you have to control yourself, control your thoughts, which will control your emotions. And in order to control my thoughts, that means I had to be in a healthy space mentally. I had realized that a lot of the thoughts that I had been experiencing because of my loss were triggering past traumas that I had experienced. So I didn't even realize how low my self-esteem was when I first started competing in pageantry. So I feel that pageantry saved my life because it brought to light so many internal issues that I knew that I had to address if I was going to ever represent our state and ever represent our nation. And I'm so grateful because I prayed every single time. I said, God, if it's for me, let it be for me. And, I prayed for the state and he gave me the whole country. So, I mean, I just knew that, since it was still on my heart, even after I lost 22 times, I knew that it was for me. And when you know that, you just don't give up. You go through whatever you're going to go through and you make the adjustments however you need to. And to me, that was just a necessary life skill. And now there's literally nothing that I feel like I can't do. I'm 29 years old. I just bought my first house. I graduated with my master's degree in applied psychology, won a national title. I sit on 2 nonprofit boards. I have my own organization called Ohio Girls Lead that helps to instill a leadership lens within young girls here in Ohio. So to me, pageantry was more than just a pageant. It was a catalyst to propel everything else that I was ever going to do. And I truly believe that pageantry has saved me in so many ways. So great.
Do you have that organized? Okay, so yesterday I'm with my daughter and we're on the backyard. I put together her golf tent. What I'm trying to get my 8-year-old to understand is that there is a process for everything. And I know I beat it over the head of everybody here. You're in psychology, we're in consulting, leadership, etc. We get it. But the hardest thing for my 8-year-old to understand is like, first, grab the club. 2, aim. 3, get your grip ready. 4, set up. 5, relax. 6, hit. But those thoughts about golf and the golf swing are so analogous to everything you just said, right? Do you have a process that you follow on the regular, or is it just in you? And if you don't, you need to write it down, and that's your book to add to the other things that you're doing. But what is it? Is it just, does it just happen? Or are you working from a life process?
Right. So I have a philosophy. It's called LEAD. So I know that whatever I do has to be seen through a leadership lens. So I don't ever look at myself as just being a part of something. I look at myself as having a voice in it, as being an active participant and someone who is capable of making decisions. And so I look at myself as a leader in every single aspect that I do, and which is how I started Ohio Girls Lead. So LEAD is an acronym, right? So the L is for love of self and community. The E is educated and equipped to educate others. A stands for advocates for the things that they believe in. And D is disciplined in anything that you're trying to do. So I take that philosophy with me in every single thing that I'm trying to accomplish. So, for example, when I went to go buy my house, I had to, for the L part, the love of self and community, I had to make sure that, I realized that I was capable of taking on such a arduous task of being a single young woman. You know, I don't make a whole lot of money, but being a single young woman that's working middle class, that can pay for her own home. But I also wanted to be somewhere where I'm close to my community, right? And I think that's important as a Black person and for our identity and our self-love to be around other Black people. So I needed to make sure that I was not segregating or isolating myself from my people. Educated and equipped to educate others. I see myself as part of a greater whole. Therefore, you know, this home buying process is something I had to educate myself on, but also I have friends who are going to want to buy houses. So now I'm equipped to educate them on the home buying process. And, you know, I work with teenage girls and college girls. And if they ever need help with renting or buying, I'm equipped to educate them and be a part of that process for them as well. So that's just like an example of how my life philosophy can be taken into every single action that I'm doing, but it takes a conscious effort. And I think it's important for everyone to realize who they are, realize how they operate and how they think about things, and to develop their own process and develop their own way of looking at life to keep themselves in a happy, controlled state, because it's so easy for life to get you down. So because I've developed this leadership philosophy, I know that if I go through this process, this mental process, I can overcome whatever it is that I'm trying to do.
You know, you asked her, did she have it already planned and written out? She's a professor. Not only did she give you the plan, not only did she write it out, but then she gave you a use of how she just illustrated it and how she executed her model.
But Darius, this goes back to art. This goes back to what I try to bang in the head every single show that we have.
Yeah.
Which is there has to be a model by which we live, and it can be written down. It can be codified, right? I mean, she has lead. There's the flow model. There's deeper. And just to let you know, Kayelin, our deeper model that I have is dream, engage, environment, plan, execute, reflect. And the only thing I would say is to make sure that in your lead model, there has to be a reflection phase, right? Where you sit back and you say, did I lead in the right way?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So again, but again, it's a model. And you can borrow from everybody else's model because we're all children of God. And then when you put it together, if you just understand that all you need is a passion and a life model, you can take over the world. If we can just get that, man, you talking about lights? You talking about?
I know, but see, here's the problem with that, with what you're saying. We don't teach kids these life skills. They go to school and they're taught information that's going to help them learn to work for somebody else.
Well, wait. Okay, so now...
Bing, 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 bing.
I'm just saying.
No, you're not wrong. But on the show, The Lights of the Round Table, we talk about where's the first place that you learn. The first place that you learn is in the home. Yep. Before you go off to anybody's school, you are in the home. And whether it's your mama, daddy, grandma, cousin, and them, you are learning from the home environment first. And so it is so important as a mother and as a daughter, there are things that I did differently as a mother than my mother, because I learned what not to do or what wasn't working and how to modify my parenting so that it equipped my children to be victorious and not victims, to be empowered and not with somebody else's feet on their neck, making them feel like they couldn't, right? But that took me as a mother listening, learning, and not being angry, but then what works and what doesn't, and then allowing myself as a parent to use what did work and was still good, but then to modify what wasn't working and make it better for my children to be then better off than I was. And that's the way from generation to generation to generation, because as you said, life evolves, right? Change is a constant. And we know that change is the one thing. It is going to change. And with that, we have to consistently be in a reflective state, something from Marcus's deeper model. So when we are in a reflective state, we get to identify what is working well. How can I tweak it and make it work better? Bam, what isn't working well now? It may have worked well yesterday, but today in a new environment, new things, new differences. So I need to take what was working yesterday and modify it so it can work today.
And stop asking your child care to educate your kid.
Yes, facts. I agree. And I think
Go ahead.
another thing that you guys are highlighting is we have this deficit in community, because I think it's important to realize that we don't have it all. We don't know the answer to everything. So instilling a sense of community in kids where they're able and comfortable and confident enough to reach out when they need help, to build a village around them with the understanding that I don't know everything. So I consider myself a mentor, but within my program, I have people who mentor me, and I have resources for my girls, because I don't know everything. I've only been alive for 29 years, and every 2 years the world changes. And so I think it's important that every model, like you said, has that aspect of community and that aspect of personal accountability and reflection. I think that is foundational in anything, because everything changes. You don't know everything. You're not perfect. You have to grow, and you'll be growing for the rest of your life. So any type of model should have room. And I'm a scientist, right? So like, this is something that I know. Knowledge should be treated as tentative. We have what we feel is the truth, and we love to be convicted in our truth without realizing that things change. Knowledge change. What you think that you know can change. And with that flexibility, I think people could be happier. People would be more comfortable asking for help. And I think mentally people would be more free if they realize that I don't have it all, but I can get an answer to whatever it is that I need help with. Darius, you're muted.
We can't hear you, my king.
Darius, you're muted.
Step back so we can see your crown, queen.
Yes, step back.
There you go. Listen, hey, this is a quick commercial inside of the show. Make sure you say hashtag the lights are on. Make sure you follow this queen, because she is dropping jewels and knowledge like somebody who's fresh out of college. This girl is on fire. She is a professor. She is an educator. She is a coach. I am so excited and so grateful that you did not give up, that you kept on fighting so we could see you. The world needs you. Our young women need you. They need to hear a queen talk about how challenging it was, but how that you just continue to push through. We need for them to hear you talk about how much you believed in yourself. And then when you got down and when you cried and when you blamed yourself, you didn't stop there. You kept showing up. You kept coming back. And now you're doing it and you're creating succession. And you said something that was so powerful to touch all of our hearts. And that was that we live in the deficit model. And one of the things that we promote, our foundation of this program, the lights of the round table, please, hashtag right now, the lights are on, is the very fact that we should be living in an asset-based communications and community development society. Focus on the strengths. And as you said, not on the deficits, not on the what's wrong, but what's right. What can I do? And you illustrated all of that. And then your quote of the day, it may be, knowledge should be treated as tentative. Woo!
It is. It changes. Things change. And the sooner we understand that, the more we'll be able to be more flexible. We are so scared of change. I know sometimes change makes me uncomfortable, but to understand that sometimes change is good, and when it's not good, you can adapt. I think it will make us less anxious. It will set us free. It will make us more willing to run with the world. And I think that's important.
In the journey of life. And one of the two things I want to get in here as we're talking about the education system and how we actually do teach our kids. Stephen Covey and his father, Sean, Sean Covey and his father, Stephen Covey, who Steve actually wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. They came together with a book called The Leader in Me, which applies the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People into the education system. And they started a model where they're going into public school systems around the country and reteaching the curriculum and rebuilding curricula based on the 7 habits, and is having amazing effects, which is, the seek to understand before being understood, sharpen your tool, don't make assumptions, all these kind of things that get the kids to develop critical thought. And then when you have critical thoughts, you have the tools to enjoy the journey, not to expect a destination. Knowledge is a destination. Learning is a journey, and that's what we should be on all the time.
So speaking of journey and destination, we got to take a quick break, but when we come right back, we're going to talk about, we got into your platform of leadership, but now we're going to go another layer deeper to imagine women being away from their families, some being falsely accused, some being incarcerated because they protected themselves from someone who was abusing them domestically. And now they're sitting behind bars, and being in the state of Ohio or many other states in the country in prisons and not being given female products or health and hygiene to take care of themselves during their cycles and other things that are germane and special to women's health. That's what we're going to be talking about with our delighted and illustrious guest, Miss for America 2021 on the Lights of the Round Table. We'll be right back. Don't forget, hashtag the lights are on.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Marcus Johnson, jazz musician and founder of Flow Wine, and I am yet a member of the Lights of the Round Table. We have our Lights of the Round Table experience each week. We'd like to invite you to come out. Check us out at www.thelightsoftheroundtable.com. We're also on IG, we're on Facebook, and all social media. And each week we talk about education, relationships, entrepreneurship, and community service, community justice, all things that shine light on your wellness journey. So join us each week as the Lights of the Round Table. I'll see you there. Hashtag the lights are on.
Hashtag the lights are on. Hey, we're back. This is Darius A. Stanton, and I'm joined by our dynamic co-host, Queen
Darlene Brown,
and our good brother, the King,
Marcus Johnson.
That's right. And Miss for America 2021.
I'm Kayelin Tiggs.
That's right. And is she a star? Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
You lit that show, that last segment up so hot, we could just replay that and just go head home for the rest of the day. But we really got to pick up something that, you just won. For the folks who are just joining us, you are now crowned Miss for America 2021, recently crowned in Las Vegas, Nevada. And you competed with women from all over the country, and you were Miss for Ohio 2020. And, just to know that you went through all of this and made all of these titles and won. And the other part is you lost 22 times before you won.
Yes.
But you did that to make sure that you spoke for people who are not being paid attention to in America, who are often forgotten. People would call them downtrodden. You could call it what you want, but these are women, unfortunately, in America. The fastest growing prison population are African-American women. And in a lot of cases, women are being held behind bars because they were trying to protect themselves. Talk to us, please, about your plight and why it is that you chose, leadership, but in particularly, you wanted to focus on helping women who are incarcerated to make sure in Ohio they got the things they need to take care of themselves as women.
Right. So I am a scientist contracted with the United States Navy. I am working at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base here in Dayton, Ohio. And another woman saw something in me and started instilling a leadership mindset within me. And so because of that, now I see myself again as not just someone who participates in something, but someone who has a voice in it and should have an active role in decisions that affect me and other people. And so I believe that all women should have this mindset of seeing themselves as leaders. And so I was doing all of this research and thinking about what makes women good leaders, what are some of the hurdles. And I'm finding that there is no topic, political, economic, social, any topic that doesn't affect women. And not only is it affecting them, it's preventing them from being the leaders that we know that they can be. And so I have this conviction that women should not just participate, but be at the table making decisions to cement themselves, to plant themselves and assert themselves. But there are systems put in place that are preventing that. And so I had a conversation with 20 women who were incarcerated, and they were telling me how they basically had their civil and human rights stripped of them. And one of their biggest complaints was that they did not have enough hygiene products to last them their entire prison sentence. You have women in there who are going to be in there for life. And not only have they been indignified by being put in a 6-foot cell, but they don't even have the proper sanitation products to care for themselves. So I am on a mission to bring awareness to this, because these women have been casted off in the shadows. Sometimes I think we're so consumed with power and prestige and status that the humanity of certain groups is lost. And so for me, this fight isn't just about helping women. It's an attempt to restore humanity of women and to reverse those indignities that we've placed upon them because of their status of being incarcerated. So I feel that this is a plight that all women can rally behind, but it's not just a women's fight for women. It is a people's fight for people and restoring humanity. People not having their basic needs and people not having products for bodily functions that they cannot control, in my opinion, is inhumane. And so I am bringing awareness to this. And I just want to say, like, you don't have to have hope in these individuals to realize their humanity. You don't have to understand what happened to them. You don't have to understand what they've done to realize that they're a fellow human being. And that is the underlying message in what I am trying to do. So me bringing hygiene products and working to make them accessible and free for women all over Ohio who are incarcerated is just a one way to restore their humanity. I am working to show individuals that these women are still people, that people who are incarcerated for reasons unbeknownst to many of us are still human beings.
I was going to say, what does this say about us?
Right. What does it say about us and the system of our country? And I was going to say, having never been incarcerated, but would think that they provide water and soap, I would presume, right? I mean, if you go to the bathroom, I would think they have some toilet tissue in there. And so I'm not clear why the state in a system is not going to provide. This is actually despicable that they're not providing and making available sanitary products that are needed for hygiene. That is a part of a woman's body. Every woman has a cycle unless there is some other reason or issue that she doesn't. And we don't control that. It is a part of the procreation process, right? And so to not think that you should be accountable as a system, an institution to provide that is despicable.
I absolutely agree. And I mean, think about the psychological damage and the health damage that is done. I have written testimonies from women who have been incarcerated, who are telling me about how they've had to go to court soiled, how they've had to compete for sanitation products, how a lot of the officers are men, and how humiliating it is to have to ask a man for more products, or how they've had to reuse products. How they've had to reuse products because they're not given enough. And to me, when I heard this, it exemplifies everything that I believe in when we talk about women's leadership. We talk about women's issues. We talk about control over women's bodies. We talk about power, status, prestige. This, to me, it's a perfect example of what can happen when power is abused, when we live in a society that doesn't recognize women as human beings, when you have male-dominated systems that don't fully understand a woman's body, or when we don't have women at the table who are making decisions. This is what happens. You have how many years, hundreds of years of this going on, and because these women have the status of a felon or someone who's been incarcerated, their voice has been stripped of them. Their voting rights have been stripped of them. So now they can't even exercise the right to vote to change something like this. So I feel like it's important for me to use my title and my platform because this exemplifies everything that can go wrong when you don't have women's voices in the decision-making process at the table, and when you strip women of their power. They're literally indignified in this way. And I have written testimonies and written accounts of this. So this is not speculation. There is evidence of how many products they're allowed to get each month and the quality of products. There is record of where these products are coming from. And it's time we start listening to the women. It's time we start changing these systems.
The fact that it's the fact that we even have to tell people, first of all, tax dollars are already being paid. You know how much money goes into incarcerating one juvenile in the state of Maryland? The average number of the cost for incarcerated juvenile for 9 months is somewhere in the neighborhood of like $140,000, $120,000 to $160,000 a year, right? Just 9 months. And so, when you talk about an adult that, we're paying tax dollars and they're charging people, you're already dealing with slave labor, being paid less than minimum wage for working a full day's work. And now you have to put yourself in a position where you've got to do all kinds of things just to survive, to humiliate yourself, to beg, and then to be at a time when our hygiene should be best. Dr. Rowland, who's going to be on our show in the next couple of weeks, he's now our global health expert, talked about how COVID is transferred through feces. And the fact that people are not washing their hands and then they're going and touching the ATM machine. And so when you have women using the same products, let alone the fact that when you don't properly, you're not able to properly take care of yourself when you're having your cycle, that toxicity that is being expelled out of the body is going back into the body, which causes cancer, which causes fibroid, which causes a whole lot of things that people know is happening.
Sepsis. I mean, and it goes to a greater level of accountability on, they're spending $160,000 on a line item somewhere, but as a business guy and looking at the line items and breaking down the spreadsheets, where's that $160,000 going? Yeah. Because it's not reaching the actual people for which, they're supposed to be, these are correction facilities, right? You're supposed to be correcting something. You're supposed to be
absolutely
in order to re-enter. And it's like all you're doing, it goes to accountability.
What can be done? I know, Darlene, I know you got a statement, but right after Darlene's statement, please tell us what can be done. What can we do to support your campaign? Who can we write? Who can people? This is action-based media. So when our audience hears it, they go do something about it. They don't just sit on it. So what can people do? And Darlene, I know you want to chime in.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. What can we do? Because this is solution hour, right? This is where we are here to make impact and charge and implore everyone. Let's take action here.
Absolutely. Like I said, that my goal as a title holder is to make tangible, measurable change. So the things that I'm doing is, one, I'm bringing awareness to this. So I have, along with speaking with you guys, I have 3 other speaking engagements where I will be bringing awareness to this issue. I'm collecting the voices of the women who are directly experiencing this problem. And then we know that this is an issue with policy and legislation. So my plan is to take a proposal to our Ohio legislation and propose that we not only, make these items free, but they should be in enough quantity to represent all types of women's bodies, and also other things such as ibuprofen and other types of issues related to women's cycles should be provided and accessible. We're talking about access here. And when you have women who are incarcerated, they lose that access. And to me, that is a method of control and a method of power. And so if you're going to take away someone's access, it is your responsibility to make sure that they have what they need. So holding our legislators accountable by bringing the evidence that this is a problem. They know it's a problem, but as you know, nothing comes without a fight. So these women are backing me. I'm asking everyone to back me. You can send me an email. You can send it to missohio2020@gmail.com with any of your ideas, any statements, anything that you feel could help strengthen this argument. I have other state representatives who are behind me in this, and we're prepared within the next couple of months to begin proposing a change in actual legislation that will hold our prisons and correctional facilities accountable. And remember, this isn't just women, these are children. We have teenage girls who are menstruating, and we cannot indignify children. So stand with me, bring awareness to this, spread the word. You can contact me, we can talk about it. I have the women behind me who are actually dealing with this. You can contact them, and I'm sure you can Google this issue because it's not just in the state of Ohio. This is a nationwide problem. And so my goal as Miss for America is to use this model here in Ohio to expand to the rest of the nation and possibly even globally one day.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely thank you for choosing the Lights of the Roundtable to share your message. We definitely support your platform, and we applaud and congratulate you on your perseverance and resilience to claim the title as Miss America, Miss for America 2021. Yes, Miss for America 2021, and Miss for America for Ohio for 2020.
Darling, you look like you fresh out of a pageant yourself there, Queen.
Well, I know you look so good, girl.
Well, thank you. I receive all that love and light. Yes, I do.
I know that's right. So listen, these are the lights of the round table. Obviously, Kayelin, you are now officially one of the lights.
Oh, thank you.
And we want you to come back. Would you come back and share with us? Because we want to help send this campaign all around the country. So wherever you are, make sure you hashtag the lights are on. Make sure you also follow Kayelin so that you can tap into this very important, whatever state you're in, you need to be writing your governor, you need to be writing your secretary of whether it's correction.
Your representatives, your corrections officers.
Make sure that you're
everyone
out there, your voice is being heard, and talk about it and make sure that somebody's doing something about it. Don't just talk, write it down, write somebody, follow Kayelin, and she'll make sure that you know what to do.
And a real powerful resource, I froze up for a second, are the university law schools. At Georgetown, we have a poverty law center, we have civil, we have street law, you have all these legal clinics. I would also tell you, Kayelin, to look into Case Western and Ohio State and or Dayton, look at the different accredited law schools. Those students on those law journals, we have a women's health journal. I mean, you can even call Georgetown's law school to see whether or not they can help you on writing about this and figuring out just having additional teammates that can help you that are lawyers.
That's a wonderful idea.
To engage them to help you in changing the laws and addressing these issues.
Love that idea.
Hey, look like Kayelin sounds like you better hashtag the lights are on.
The lights are on.
Will do, because you definitely just lit a light in my brain.
Exactly. I saw it go off. That's why I said it. So listen, we want to thank you so much, Miss for America 2021. Kayelin Tiggs, thank you. You've been a jewel, a light. You know, the folks are loving it. You can see it in the chat. Everybody's just going crazy with it. So thank you all. Make sure you tune in next week. We will have Messiah Ramkissoon, 3-time Apollo winner, Kennedy Center performer, as well as the voice, the very first voice on the that was the day that they proclaimed the unveiled the Martin Luther King Jr. statue on the mall. So he's our guest next week. But please, continue to support Miss for America 2021 because she is supporting you, not only women, but anybody. If you support a woman, you support the world.
Yes.
Back.
All right, Kayelin, you take care. Remember, # the lights are on.
The lights are on.